America's most dire economic forecasts. 2024's top 10 struggling states. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into CNBC's latest report on the states with the worst economies in America for 2024. This, my friends, is about the states teetering on the edge of economic despair. From recession anxieties to fiscal cliffs so steep, even Tom Cruise wouldn't rappel down them. We'll uncover what's putting these states in financial jeopardy. So buckle up, grab a stiff drink, you're gonna need it, and let's get started. And here we are at our number one spot, the bottom of the economic barrel, Mississippi. Mississippi has consistently struggled economically, but this year, it's like they're playing economic limbo with a yardstick. The state boasts the lowest labor force participation rate in the nation, a dismal 53.8%. Over half of the state's working-age population isn't even trying to find a job. Job growth is about as common as a sober Saturday night in New Orleans, and the state's economic growth last year, well, let's just say it makes a snail look like a Formula One race car. But here's the thing about Mississippi, it's resilient. This is a state that has weathered storms, both literal and metaphorical, for generations. They've got grit, soul, and more delicious comfort food than any one state has the right to have. What they don't have, unfortunately, are the resources and support they desperately need. Mississippi deserves a fighting chance, not just another condescending pat on the head and a better luck next year. Aloha doesn't quite have the same ring to it when you're facing economic uncertainty, does it? Coming in at number 2, we have Hawaii. The pandemic hit Hawaii's tourism-dependent economy like a rogue wave, and the recent wildfires have only added insult to injury. Visitor numbers are flatter than a pineapple left in the sun, and that's bad news for a state that relies on tourist dollars like a college student relies on instant ramen. This downturn has had a ripple effect on the entire state, impacting job growth and putting a serious strain on state finances. But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. Hawaii is known for its resilience and its strong sense of community. The Aloha spirit is more than just a marketing slogan, it's a way of life. The state is exploring ways to diversify its economy, investing in renewable energy and technology. They're also working to support local businesses and create new job opportunities that aren't reliant on the whims of the tourism industry. It's a long road to recovery, but if any state can weather this storm, it's Hawaii. Coming in at number 3, we have New Hampshire, a state that's usually known for its stunning fall foliage and fiercely independent spirit. But this year, New Hampshire is making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Its economy is stuck in a rut deeper than a pothole on a back road. The Granite State is facing severe labor shortages and housing prices that would make even a Wall Street banker wince. Businesses are desperate for skilled workers, but those workers can't afford to live anywhere near the jobs. This perfect storm of economic challenges has resulted in a significant slowdown in economic growth, with the state seeing a paltry 1.4% job growth rate. So, what's the solution? Well, it's not as simple as just building more affordable housing, although that would be a good start. New Hampshire needs to find ways to attract and retain a skilled workforce. That means investing in education, job training programs, and creating a business environment that encourages innovation and growth. They also need to address their aging population, which is putting a strain on the state's social safety net and shrinking the tax base. It's a tall order, but if anyone can figure it out, it's the resourceful folks of New Hampshire. Chapter 4, Louisiana, sinking under more than just water. Coming in at number 4, we have Louisiana, a state known for its vibrant culture and delicious cuisine. Louisiana has been grappling with a serious home equity problem, with the highest rate of underwater home loans in the country. It's a hangover from the housing crisis, exacerbated by natural disasters like Hurricane Katrina. Job growth in the state is about as lively as a cemetery at midnight, and the economy is still struggling to recover from Katrina. It's a tough situation, made even tougher by the state's reliance on the oil and gas industry, which is about as stable as a Jenga tower built by a toddler. But don't count Louisiana out just yet. This is a state that knows how to survive. To get back on their feet, Louisiana needs to diversify its economy, invest in renewable energy and sustainable industries, and address systemic poverty and inequality. It's a long and winding road to recovery, but if any state can bounce back, it's Louisiana. Chapter 5, Kansas, Flatlining in the Heartland. Coming in at number 5, we have Kansas, a state known for its vast wheat fields and Dorothy and Toto charm. But this year, Kansas is making news for something other than its impressive lack of topographical variation. Its economy is flatter than a pancake on a griddle. Kansas is facing a housing market that's about as exciting as watching paint dry. Prices are appreciating slower than a snail in a molasses factory, and job growth is stuck at a measly 0.5%. To make matters worse, Kansas doesn't have a lot going for it in terms of major corporations or foreign investment. But hey, it's not all bad news. Kansas does have a lot of wind, so much wind that it could probably power the entire country if they could just figure out how to harness it effectively. Kansas has potential with a strong agricultural base, a hardworking population, and a central location that could make it a logistics hub. What they need is a plan, some investment, and a little bit of luck. Chapter 6. Kentucky Bourbon can't fix this hangover. Coming in at number 6, we have Kentucky, a state known for its rolling hills, world-famous bourbon, and horses worth more than your house. But this year, Kentucky is dealing with an economic hangover that even the finest bourbon can't cure. The bluegrass state is facing a housing market that's about as lively as a retirement home on a Tuesday afternoon. New business formations are about as common as a vegetarian at a barbecue competition, and while the state did manage a respectable 3.5% GDP growth, job growth is lagging behind at a measly 0.8%. To make matters worse, Kentucky is grappling with a pension funding ratio that's enough to give even the most seasoned accountant a panic attack. But don't despair just yet, Kentucky fans. The state does have some things going for it. A strong manufacturing base, a skilled workforce, and of course all that bourbon. What Kentucky needs to do is diversify its economy, invest in education and job training programs, and get its pension system under control. It's a tall order, but if any state can pull it off, it's Kentucky. Chapter 7. Rhode Island, small state, big problems. Coming in at number 7, we have Rhode Island, a state that's smaller than the average IKEA, but somehow manages to pack in an impressive amount of economic dysfunction. This tiny state is tied for 9th place with 2 other states, but don't let that fool you. Rhode Island is in a league of its own when it comes to economic woes. They're like the little engine that couldn't, except instead of pulling a train full of toys, they're dragging a mountain of debt. Rhode Island has been grappling with pension issues for so long that it's practically a state tradition, like clam chowder and complaining about the weather. The state's economic growth is about as exciting as watching grass grow, and while job growth is present at 2%, it's not nearly enough to offset the state's financial challenges. So what's the solution for this tiny state with giant problems? Rhode Island needs to get serious about addressing its pension crisis, diversifying its economy beyond tourism and fishing, and attracting new businesses. It's a tall order, but hey, they did manage to legalize recreational marijuana, so there's still hope. Stay tuned for more updates on how these states tackle their economic challenges. Maine, known for its rugged coastline and delicious lobster rolls, faces economic woes this year. The state's economy is flatter than a pancake on a griddle. Flattening revenues and a poor credit rating plague Maine. Despite investments in mental health and housing, challenges remain. Selling more lobster rolls won't solve the budget shortfall. Maine must attract new businesses and diversify its economy. The resourceful people of Maine are used to weathering storms. Coming in at number 9, we have Illinois, the land of Lincoln, deep dish pizza, and a pension crisis so dire it could make a grown accountant weep. Illinois is battling the nation's lowest pension funding ratio, a distinction that's about as enviable as having the worst case of food poisoning at a picnic. They've also got inadequate budget reserves, which is like trying to survive a blizzard with a light jacket and a hope. They've seen some credit rating upgrades, which is like getting a gold star for showing up to class on time after a history of truancy. Illinois needs to get serious about pension reform, address its out-of-control spending, and create a more business-friendly environment. Vermont, known for its stunning natural beauty and craft breweries, faces economic challenges. This year, the economy is more dependent on a miracle. Picturesque landscapes can't hide the uphill economic battle. Lack of major corporations and slow job growth are issues. Vermont needs new businesses and economic diversification. If any state can thrive while maintaining its character, it's Vermont. Well, folks, there you have it. America's 10 most economically challenged states. It's a sobering look at the struggles facing many Americans, but it's not all doom and gloom. These states face significant economic hurdles, but there are glimmers of hope as they work towards recovery. With smart policies, strategic investments, and a little bit of luck, these states can turn their economic fortunes around. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more insightful content.